Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. If you're my previous subscribers, welcome back. So, we're gonna have a lot to talk about on this channel, but for today's video, we're gonna talk about the Republican primary of 2024. We have a whole list of Republican primaries that we have to get through in this video. If you want to see specific types or specific candidates, just go to the description below. Everything will be timestamped in the description. This video is being recorded on July 11, 2023 at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that is when this video is being recorded. It has been a very long time. So if you have been with me since the beginning, welcome back. I'm so happy to have you. It has been such a journey. It has been such a long time. In another video, I'm going to talk and go more in depth about what has happened and what I've been doing beyond YouTube. So I'll keep you guys updated in another video. I will be I'm doing multiple other YouTube channels to getting them set up and ready. Right now, I just have some problems with YouTube at the moment. Some of my videos that I published back in November are no longer visible to the public eye. So if you have any sort of questions or videos that you once saw in the past that are no longer visible on my channels, let me know in the description below. Or feel free to just email me, which I will also put in the description. Without further ado, let's just begin, shall we? Here are some quick disclaimers. Feel free to read them on your own time. I'm not going to read them to you, but just pause the video if you would like to read them. Please keep in mind that this video is just for entertainment purposes only and for education purposes only as well. Alright, anything in this video that is edited or altered is because I need to adhere by YouTube policy guidelines. So to keep in mind of that as well. I'm not trying to edit anything out. Worst case scenario, if I can't physically stay, I will beat myself or somehow remove that part of the video, but I will put it in like one of the words or whatever. I don't know exactly what's going to happen in this video. But please keep in mind this disclaimer, all information I get during this recording is simply my intuition, my understanding, downloads information from the higher power. Feel free to read that in terms of the disclaimer. So, let's begin. In the past, I don't know if I wrote it down in my community tab. If you have checked on my YouTube, I made some predictions on it as well. I'm going to see if I can pull it up now. I said in the past, and I don't know if I uploaded it here on YouTube, but I know I definitely uploaded it somewhere where you guys can see it. But I did say that the party with the most amount of candidates is the party that will go on to lose the 2024 presidential election. So as of right now, we have the Democrats with 3 contenders, to the Republicans 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We are most likely going to have a 13th for Rick Scott, excuse me. So it'll be really interesting to see how all this plays out. But as of right now, I'm going to surely say I do see the Democrats winning the 2024 election. I have stalled that for Biden since he won his first election. That had not changed. But we are going to give the benefit of the doubt to the Republicans and the Democrats and kind of see how that progresses forward. So we're going to explore each candidate and get in more specifically. Let's begin. The person that we're going to be looking at today is Donald Trump. So let's take a look at Trump. All right, let me put the light on for you. Oops, I guess that was on. Oh, it's this one. I'm a little rusty, as you can tell. All right, so Spirit Angels, tell me about this Donald Trump and the Republican primary of 2024. How's he doing? We're going to do 3 cards for each candidate. That's it. How is Donald Trump doing in the Republican primary? Okay, so I'm hearing in my ear that I need to cleanse the cards, so I'm going to do that right now. Spirit and Angel, cleanse the cards of any negative energies. Any question that I have asked in the past, please clear this entire deck. Okay, the deck is clear. So Spirit and Angel, tell me about Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election primary. Okay. Can I have his current president? Where is he going in the present? Okay, and this is the final outcome card. All right, so for Donald Trump, we have the Pedro story. He was always going to be the front runner. Everybody knew that he was going to, well, apparently not everybody, because there's a lot of oblivious people out there, but Donald Trump was always destined to run again and keep competing for the presidency, no matter how many times he lost, to be able to win it. So that is the Pedro story. That's in the past. It's also that his idea that he set up and put in motion that he won the election, the past one, and that he wants to put forth a new motion to be able to say, hey, listen, I won. Like, that is what I'm seeing here. And the next card here, we have the moon. And the moon card is the dog, the wolf, and the scorpion. And there's hidden motive, right? There's hidden talent. There's stuff that are about to come to light that is going to really shift their narrative in favor of either Donald Trump or against him. That is what remains to be seen. But at the moment, he's in what's what we call like a turning point. Whether it turns for him for the better and that he does become the front runner and end up becoming the Republican nominee, or he ends up not becoming the Republican nominee. So this is a very crucial time for Donald Trump going into the Republican primary when it comes to 2024. The final outcome card is the Ace of Pentacles, and it looks like to me as if anything, he's going to actually most likely, more than not, he's going to he's going to get the Republican nomination. This is on a simple basis of he started out early. He had the front runner. He has the name. He has the name recognition. He was a former president. He has almost everything at his disposal, even including all the resources. And almost like it feels like to me that the Ace of Pentacles, the universe is saying, here's another chance. Here's another opportunity. Take it. But I hear a but. And I don't want to read any further for this because I feel like this would be more for a more in-depth video for Donald Trump, and I want to be able to allow him to be able to get the best information out of that. But as of right now, that's what I see. So he is the likely front runner, as we all know already, but there's a but here, and there's a turning point for Donald Trump. So the next one that we're going to cover is Nikki Haley. So let's just take a look at her and see what is up with Nikki Haley for the Republican primary of 2024. I believe she might be the only female, if I'm correct. Could be wrong. Yeah, she is the only female, so that's interesting. All right. And final outcome card for Nikki Haley, Republican primary. Okay. Okay, so we have the Queen of Wands here. And the Queen of Wands is indicating that she's the first woman, technically, to challenge Trump besides, what's her name? God. The one from Wyoming. Nikki, oh my God. Liz Cheney, excuse me. So, but she was the first woman to challenge him in the primary. She was also the first person to declare that she's running against Donald Trump, and that just steamrolled into the 12 candidates so far. The card that's in the middle, the president, she's not doing very well in the polling. She's doing almost horrendously in the polling. I don't think that she is going to be a good contender for for the Republican primary. I don't think she even has a shot. But again, like I said, this video is just for entertainment purposes only. But it just feels like she just had no shot at this. It almost just feels like she's wasting money and time and energy. But we do have here in the future, though, she does have some sort of connection if someone does pick her as the vice president. We have a male here giving her a bundle of roses or flowers, saying, here, we're going to make a deal, we're going to make an agreement, you give me the woman vote, and I'll give you the vice presidency. And that's basically what the sort of agreement is agreed upon here. So, yeah, so she will become somebody vice president, but she will not be popular by any means in the Republican primary. Okay, we have this guy, Ramaswamy, I don't even know how to pronounce that. But Spirits and Angels for this guy here, Ramaswamy, I think his name is. What is his shot at the Republican primary? Is he going to beat Trump? Okay, there's a lot of cards that came out. I'm going to take the ones that are already flipped over. Okay. This guy really has like no story here. Final outcome card. Oh, okay. So it feels like to me, okay. So this is what it feels like. Again, this video just for entertainment purposes only. We have the Ace of Cards reversed, and what this speaks to me is that no, he is not going to be a leader by any chance. He doesn't even have in his bones or his own like emotional intelligence, I guess you could say, but he's able to lead a group of people, let alone a country. I don't see that in his cards, so no, that's enough for me. In terms of the Page of Cups, though, he is someone who is new, who is a millennial, but it almost speaks volume to the fact that, if you look at all these older people, oops, I just removed it accidentally. But if you look at all these people, a lot of them are very old, or at least within the high 40s into very high 70s. So if you really look at that, he is the only young one out of everybody, and that just speaks volume to the generation in which he's representing. Because for the first time in a long time, we have somebody who is younger up there, but they're not getting sort of voice or traction or recognition of some sort. And that's what I kind of see for the Page of Wands. It's almost, excuse me, for the Page of Cups. This is just speaking that he just has no volume. He has no charisma. He has no energy. It almost feels like he's just there just for the show. He's there for like a business deal, so to speak, rather than just to become president. And that's what it feels like. In the end, though, he will become almost like in the future, though, he does have a King of Cups. He does have some good networking. I feel like this is what he'd be doing right now. He could be networking with other politicians who are up there, maybe making some deals behind the scenes. But regardless, he is going to get some sort of alleviation to his social status in some capacity, whether that means a career, job, politics, religion, relationship with other people, whether that means love or not, friendship, whatever. But it does feel like he does have some sort of alleviation, whether that means a business deal, whether that means a career path, maybe he gets a position in the White House, if he does something, whatever it is, it just feels like he's just there just for something other than the presidency. So, yeah, it's a no for him. He's not going to get the nomination. He's going to get something else, though. Josh Hutchinson. Oh, wait, no, that's a celebrity. Don't know who this guy is, but apparently he's from Alabama, somewhere down in the deep south. No, I think his name is Asher Hutchinson. I have no idea, honestly. He's just some white guy. All right, so Spears and Angels, tell me, for this guy, Hutchinson, what is his chances at the Republican primary? Okay. Okay, so he does have some sort of record here. I feel like more than anything, more of an evangelical record. I'm seeing policies or leadership that he had done in the past that will alleviate or help him in some capacity lift up his political image or stuff like that. I just feel like he has something that he's done in the past that's going to help him within the Republican primary, but it's not going to get him far. And that is because I feel like he has changed as a person compared to who he was in the past, whether that comes to leadership, maybe he helped people during environmental crisis or something like that. I just feel like it doesn't really show through him as a political candidate. And that might just be because he's doing it for political reasons and not doing it because he feels for the people who are unfortunately falling victim. I mean, have the Shari card here. He had no momentum. He's not moving forward. We do have here in terms of strength within the Republican Party, he has basically no strength at all. He's not going to really poll that well. I see him dropping out pretty early. Okay. For Larry Elder, if you guys remember him, he ran against Gavin Newsom, or he tried to, against Gavin Newsom in California for the governor's race. Now, this guy is a nut job. Full blown. So if you want to go look him up, I highly recommend it. Some of his policies are astronomically insane. But yeah. Anyway, besides the point, Larry Elder, Spears Angels, tell me what is his chances at winning the Republican primary? Okay, that's a lot of cards. So we are going to. Okay, we're gonna divide it like that. All right. So this is Larry Elder. So we have the first card here that this is the Queen of Cups, and it's reversed. This is talking to me about the governor's race in California. He really had no support, especially among Democrats, which means that, I'm not trying to be racist here, I'm just trying to state statistics. Most of the Democratic Party, in terms of African-American vote, are very heavily Democratic. He is the exact opposite of that. He represents the opposite of those voters. And what that tells me here is that he's banking, oh my God, it's like in my head, he's like banking on the idea of, because I'm black, people who are black are going to vote for me. That's not necessarily true. And that's what I'm seeing here, that he thinks you're going to get that Democratic vote instant. But that's not really going to manifest into the general election. And not even that, it's not even going to manifest into the Republican primary as well. So I don't know what he's thinking, but he's just not really thinking in terms of optics. If he has some sort of reasonable policy to help people within the region or within the demographic that he is targeting, I could see, support for him, but he's not doing that. There's nothing here that speaks to me in terms of policy. Now, in terms of the president, he has temperance and the 10 of swords. He's a backstabber. He's going to turn and flip like you have never seen a politician do before. He's going to say things and then backtrack. He's going to say things and then he's going to say, I never did that. He's going to be a gaslighter. He's going to be what we call a gaslighting politician. He's going to do something and tell you did not see what you saw. That's what I see for him. Okay, that's the present. In the future, though, we have the Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords tells me, people are going to try, the media is going to try to push this narrative as, hey, we need him. In order for us to win this general election, we need someone who's different other than the color of white. But that's not really necessarily true because in the end, nobody votes on color. People vote on the instance of who's going to become a better president. The only people who vote on the basis of color are people who generally don't like the idea of someone who is different than them going into the highest office. And I think that that's really a shame because there are a lot of qualified people who are different who deserve to be in the presidency. So here we have the Page of Swords, like I said, but it's reversed with strength. He's not really going to pull that well, no matter how many times the media tries to spin it. I don't really see anything in terms of him for the Republican primary. I don't really think he's going to go that far. They're going to try to get him to become like a vice president or some sort, but he's not even going to be chosen. He's not even going to be considered. If anything, it will be more like Nikki Haley being picked for vice president than he is. The next one, we have Scott. I think Scott has a better shot just on a simple basis that he's not like Larry Elder. And I just feel like the reason why I say that is not because of perspective or stuff like that. It's just energy. It's very different, if you know what I mean. So Tim Scott, Spears and Angels, tell me about Tim Scott. What is his chances in the Republican primary of 2024? Okay. No. Okay, so the Kardec challenge for him is throwing off the status quo. If he was to just say be chosen as a Republican primary contender or nominee, so to speak, he will throw off the entire balance of the Republican Party. He will set a new era, so to speak, for the Republican Party. That is Donald Trump's job. That's Donald Trump's job. But if Tim Scott takes it, a new era begins for the Republican Party. And that is what is a big challenge for Tim Scott. It almost feels like in a way that the Republican Party are scared that this reality could become true, because the reality in which they created under Trump may no longer resonate with a lot of voters. And so the Tower card might indicate some sort of Barack Obama type energy, but for the Republican Party. And now the question is that remains for that is, who is Tim Scott really? Is he the politician that he puts forth, or is he just putting on a political show and become a very different person when it comes to the presidency? That is something that we will remain to be seen. But what it is indicating here, that it's not saying that he is like Obama, it's just his energy of hope and change is similar to Obama, but for the Republican Party, right? It might just be, when I say that, it might also just be for the fact that maybe Republicans are using this as a way to say, hey, we're not racist. We nominated a black guy. It could be simple as that. There's some sort of change. It's not because people want to have somebody good in the office. It's just because they're choosing it for their own political optics. That's the difference in what I'm trying to say. We do have the Two of Swords. There was a very challenging time for him in the past to kind of decide whether or not he wants to run for the presidency. Ultimately, he decided, yes, he's going to run for the Republican nomination. But it is also indicating to me here as well that if he had announced earlier than Haley, he might have been the second in line to defeat Trump. But he did not. And so therefore, his optic of becoming a nominee has just dwindled astronomically lower. However, he is not tied down. And that's what this card is indicating. He is not tied down. And that tells me that he does have opportunity to rise if he chose to seek them. However, I do see him dropping out of the race early. Right? We have the Knight of Wands. He gets scared. Maybe he starts to double question himself. Maybe he doubts himself and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I can't do this. Maybe I don't really like that. Maybe he starts to understand what it's like to be president, nowhere compared to what type of position he's in. I don't know if he's a senator, governor, whatever. But it feels like to me that the presidency scares him in some capacity. Like he wants it now, but when he starts to see the reality sets in, he's like, hold up. This is not what I asked for. This is not what I wanted. This is not what I expected. It's almost like he had a realization that kicks in. And this is the Republican primary, the Republican nomination. It almost feels like when things start to get real for him, he's going to run away. And that's why this card is in this direction. It's him running away from that presidency. So I see him kind of in the end. I feel like he's going to drop that. I don't think he's going to stay in the race for that long when reality starts to kick in and stuff like that. I don't think it's really what he expected it to be like. The next one is we have Ron DeSantis. So Spirit saying it was telling me about the Republican primary of 2024 for Ron DeSantis. Okay. How is he going to do in the Republican primary? All right, and what is the final outcome card for Ron DeSantis? Okay. So the first card here, we have the Knight of Swords. He is somebody who was new, who was easily swept into office for a second term during 2022 midterm election. But when he first ran, was completely competitive. He was somebody who was seen as almost like a nobody. It's really the best way I could describe this. It's telling me here for the Knight of Swords, it's telling me that he's basically nobody. Nobody expected him to be somewhere in the political field or political arena. No one expected him to have such high name recognition or household name. However, the present card is indicating high support for him, right? So around 3 o'clock, that does indicate to me that he might hover around 30% in terms of the poll, or 30% of the Republican Party was going to support Ron DeSantis. I feel like those are what we call hardcore Ron DeSantis supporters opposed to Donald Trump. So Donald Trump has a higher chance of getting the majority of the Republican primary voters, but when it comes to Ron DeSantis, he at least clinches at least a minimum of 30% in terms of the Republican primary vote. When it comes to the overall outcome card, in the past, what I've gotten in the past, that Ron DeSantis has a very high chance of beating Trump. Even when I was doing my own calculation in the past, before I went back and did this video, I did this calculation about around February to kind of see who will win in a hypothetical head-to-head matchup between Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis actually end up beating Trump in the primary. So I'll post that video in the future. I'm going to do it again and see what happens. But I find that to be really interesting. For the outcome card of Ron DeSantis, we have the Lovers card. And we also have the Death card. Real Rebirth. So the Love and the Rebirth. So it kind of feels like to me that he is, okay. So he is a candidate that everybody loves, right? He is a candidate, well, not everybody. When I say everybody, I mean the Republican Party in some capacity. Loves him, loves who we are, loves who he is, loves what he represents. They love that he represents fire and stuff like that. But the card here that's on top of it, that is being almost challenged, or so to speak, glorified or amplified, is the Death card. And the Death card really symbolizes death, an end of something, or the rebirth of something new. This could be the end of his political career. This could be the end of his political future. It could be the rebirth of something new. It could be the rebirth of his political career. It could be that maybe perhaps that this is not the right time for him to run, but it might just be the indication that he is planning to run in 2028. So regardless of what happened, it does indicate here that he will be on a different path, but that path may end up back with him at the Republican nomination just again 4 years later. So just keep that in mind, that Ron DeSantis is not going anywhere anytime soon. He does seem to be staying in politics. And I do see him in Congress. I do see him showing up. So this does indicate to me that even if Ron DeSantis is not the front runner in this election or this upcoming election, he will become the front runner in the following one, or at least somewhere within the next couple of decades. He will become a Republican nominee of some sort. So to keep that in mind, he is going to be in the future, even if he's not in the future right now. To keep that in mind. So he does have a political future going ahead, just to see where that future leads him. Well, that remains to be seen. So let's talk about Pence. He's a very interesting one. So let's take a look. I have not read on Pence or his chances, so I have no idea. So we're going to take a look. All right, so Spirit Angel, tell me on Mike Pence for the Republican primary in 2024. Okay, Mike Pence for the Republican primary in 2024. What are his chances? Okay, fine. Outcome card for Mike Pence. Oh, interesting. Okay, so Mike Pence is seen as a feminist of some sort. Now, when I say that, a lot of you guys are going to say, well, no, hold on. Mike Pence is not a feminist. No, you're right. You're right. But when I say feminist, I mean in the terms of his energy. He is seen as a female, very submissive. He's very, well, I can't say it because females are not submissive. But in terms of the energy in general, when it comes to spirituality sense, it does feel like to me that he is very submissive. He is insubordinate. He is somebody who is inferior. He's not superior, he's inferior, which means that he is very easy to manipulate. He's like a puppet. You can manipulate him in any capacity, and he will do what you ask, regardless if it's against his own interest or the people that he represents interest. So that's what I see here. He's a puppet by definition. We have the Fool card here, right? He was a fool for not standing up. He could have easily had a political career. That might have been the likes of Liz Cheney. Yes, he might have not been able to gather the support from the Republican Party, but at least he would have been able to dignify himself for the historical perspective well beyond the date that he dies. We do have the Ace of Cups. He does have some support. Never Trumpers, never DeSantis supporters in the Republican primary. So he will have a significant amount. I say about like around 14 to 4% in terms of the popular vote of the Republican Party primary. I do see that for him. He will have a significant chunk, but not enough that will give him the nomination outright. However, when I say feminine energy for him in general, or in terms of his aura, we do have the Queen of Wands, which also was the card that showed up for Nikki Haley. So I would not be surprised if he chooses Nikki Haley as the vice presidency or the vice president nominee to try to get him to gather some of the women's support. Now, the one thing that I will say about Republican women compared to Democratic women is that Republican women do not care when it comes to certain people choosing other candidates on the simple basis of their gender. So that will not work when it comes to the Republican Party. It may work on a Democrat, general consensus in terms of the general election, but when it comes to actual political parties, I really don't see that becoming a factor for Republican voters in particular. So I don't think this is really going to be an advantage like he thinks it does. Okay, let's talk about Christie. All right, let's see. His chances, I don't know. Honestly, I guess the best way to look at it is just to kind of see. He kind of reminds me of McDonald, the purple character Grimace, is what kind of Christie reminds me of. But yeah, anyway, besides the point. So Spirit Angel, tell me about Christie. What are his chances at the Republican nomination? Okay. So it seems to me as if anything for Christie, it feels like he is somebody who was trying to bring back that Republican Party that he knew before Donald Trump, pre-Donald Trump is what he's trying to do. But he's not going to be able to do that. He's trying to do that, but he's not going to because he died with Trump for so long. It's very hard to come back from that. But we do have the 6 stories here, and it says that he's stealing it. He portrayed it with Donald Trump and perpetuating the idea and the lie of the past when it comes to that election. We do have the Magician card reversed. he's not going to be able to get that much support. He's not really going to get that much distance support. Just like he didn't get it in 2016, he's not going to get it now. We do have here, though, in the future card, we do have the High Priestess, and the High Priestess card is upright, which indicates Joe Biden, times for the J and B. What this indicates to me is it feels like he's going to try to turn to Joe Biden for some sort of support or some sort of leniency, maybe make some sort of deal. I don't know. I feel like if anything, he's going to turn against that Republican Party in some capacity. Maybe he might give information away. Maybe he might become a whistleblower of some sort. But it does feel like to me, if anything, he's not going to be somebody who has loyalty to the Republican Party, at least to Donald Trump or the people that he is whistleblowing again. We do have here at the bottom of that card here, we do have the Page of Cups reverse. And the Page of Cups reverse is just indicating to me that he's not going to get it. He's just doesn't really have the energy or the charisma to get there. The card that does follow down, look at this. We have the White House. Because of Christie and the whistleblowing information, it does actually land the Democrats back into the White House for another 4 years. So it does give him an advantage. This is also the incumbency card. So the incumbency card, that means Biden basically, or the Democratic Party in general, will land themselves back into the White House for an additional 4 years because of Christie. So definitely keep an eye on what Christie does, because he's going to be a major factor for the Democratic Party when it comes to winning in 2024. That was more interesting than I expected. Okay. Burgum. I don't know exactly who this guy is, so we're going to put him up on the screen and see what this guy even looks like. Okay. Oh, okay. Burgum. I don't know what he looks like, but he looks like some sort of general attorney for a state or something. Yeah. Okay. All right. We kind of get the feeling of what he is, or even who this guy is. All right, so Spirit Angel, tell me about Burgum. What is the chances of winning the Republican primary in 2024? No, he's not going to win. We have to love his card reverse. He really didn't get his support back then. He's not going to get it now. He's way too late to the game. When it comes to actually gaining any support, he's going to be probably one of the first 5 to drop out. I don't see him really getting above 5%. I kind of see, if anything, he's kind of going to have around 2.3, 2.8% in terms of the popular vote for the Republican primary. He's not really going to gain any support. No matter how many times he fights or try to push up a fight to make some sort of scene, he's not really going to get any sort of momentum. So when it comes to Burgum, he's basically wasting his time, is really what I would say. I hate to say that about people, but he's just wasting his time. Okay. We have Suarez. I know who he is. He's like a mayor or something of Florida. Not exactly sure. I don't really know 100%, so keep that in mind. But all right, let's start. So Spirit and Angel, tell me for this dude here, Suarez, the mayor, I think here. What is the chances of the Republican nomination in 2024? No. We have here in the past, he had some sort of surprise victories or some sort of upset. I'm not exactly sure where this dude even goes or what he even does for a living. I have no idea who this guy is. But he just said he has some sort of victory and upset, that landed him in terms of the political field of view. By any means, he's not a household name, so nobody really knows who this guy is. He's not really that popular. I don't really see him gaining any support. He's going to be in the bottom 5. So if anything, he's going to drop out early as well. When it comes to the Chariot, it's not his time yet. He jumped in too early. And the universe is saying basically go home. He's going home. So it tells me that he is not going to be a strong contender for the Republican nomination. Okay, we have Hurd. That kind of reminds me of Hurd, but, what are you going to do? Yeah, I don't even know who that guy is. No idea, but I guess he heard something. All right, so Spirit saying, just tell me about Hurd. What are his chances of winning the Republican nomination in 2024? Okay. So he was debating in the past whether or not he should run for the Republican nomination. He had a very hard time deciding whether or not he should or if he shouldn't. We have here, when it comes to the current president, he is trying to defeat a couple of contenders. He's going to be a little bit more popular than the state. He's going to be in the below 5. I'll give you that. He's going to be below 5%, or at least below 6%. I do see him doing a little tad bit better than the other one. But I do see him, he's going to be the one of the 3 to drop out. But he's going to last a little longer than the other 5. So he's going to stay in it for a little bit. He is going to end up getting those 5 supports, which is going to keep him in the race for a little bit longer, but he's not going to be able to get enough of it. You can kind of see he gets a small chunk compared to everybody else. He gets a larger chunk. He doesn't really know how to really, voice or talk to those voters that he needs in order to win the Republican nomination. It feels like, to me, he's at loss for words. He has potential, but he's definitely not going anywhere. We do have the 2 ones here. If anything, I do feel that he is going to be international. He might have some sort of international connection that might be good or bad. That might be a big problem for him come the future. It also might indicate that he might land a job internationally, potentially as a job, maybe networking with one of the politicians. We do have the Patriot story. So new future, new path, new direction. That tells me already that he's basically going to get some sort of networking job that will land him internationally. So I kind of see like what Nikki Haley was doing for Donald Trump. It kind of feels like what Hurd might be doing for the future. All right, last but not least, we have a potential candidate. Right now, it's not confirmed or declared candidate, but very likely Scott is going to join the Republican nomination, what makes him the 13th official Republican candidate. The Spirit Angel will tell you about Scott's chances of winning the Republican nomination in 2024. What are his chances? What is Scott's chances of winning the Republican nomination in 2024? Okay. You have 2, 2, 2. Okay. So we have here in the past, we have the 10 of Cups. Those are the 10 of Swords. So in some cases, Rick Scott has some good opportunities. He has some good things that he did that really makes him proud or really helps his political image. But he's done stuff that really damaged that image. It almost feels like he has a mix of 50-50, almost identically, because you can see a 10 of good and 10 of bad. So that kind of indicates to me that he is almost like what you would call a good and a bad person. It's your average person. Right? He has a little bit of good and a little bit of bad. When it comes to him in the present, though, he has some sort of achievement, whether that's good or bad, and say, hey, this is what I accomplished. This is what I can get done for you. Now, although he's jumping in a way so late in the game, he's going to basically have no support. I almost feel like, to me, he's not really going to be anybody who's going to be competitive or something like that, because there are a lot of people that can offer so much more than what he can offer. And so nobody's going to be really listening to him. Even if he can offer a lot more than any other candidate, no one's listening to him because he's basically a nobody because he joins in so late. We do have the Hanged Man reverse, and we do have the Wheel of Fortune, and that does indicate to me, in terms of the Hanged Man reverse, that does indicate, at some point there's some sort of experience or some sort of internal knowledge that he knows that other people don't know that can help him get to where he wants to go. However, it does say here, just watch out because Destiny is taking its place here. Destiny is taking its time with Scott. And because he has not decided whether or not he has not declared that he's voting for the Republican nomination, as of right now, it's basically indicating that this reading is null and void, particularly because he cannot find where his energy is going because he had not made that official decision yet. And so it tells me here that the Hanged Man reverse, it kind of tells me that no matter what happens, he's going to kind of be upside down in a bit, because he doesn't have the energy, doesn't have the motive or the aspiration that he's looking for, particularly because he jumped in so late. He made that decision so late. And this card is indicating anything is possible, anything can happen. But as of right now, when it comes to Rick Scott, it's almost like it's too late for him. So, yeah. So that is for Scott. So, guys, I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and just let me know in the comment section what you think in the description below. I will make a Democrat one. I kind of see what happened for the Democratic primary. Obviously, you can be way shorter of a video because there's less candidates to cover. Other than that, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video, and I love you. Bye.